Apple is required to act like every small change is a revolution, and I'm not buying it. Welcome to the video. Just earlier today, we had an Apple, we can't even call it a live stream event, can we? It's a pre-recorded video that they just premiere at a certain time, and this is something that I want to lead with today, is the idea that Apple, because it has built itself into a monolith, namely through its branding and its long-running advertising style, it has to act like everything is a huge deal. Everything is a huge deal because it's Apple.
And we're innovating at a tremendous pace.
The funny part of that is when there are just smaller incremental improvements, they have to act like it's the biggest deal in the world. And then when they actually do make giant leaps forward in terms of their own computing platforms, they just go even further. So everything is always to the extreme, but wrapped within this container of very, I would say, corporate hip sort of image, where it's on the one hand very sterile and very straightforward and minimalist, kind of, but at the same time is meant to show you that they're kind of personable and that they have an enormous amount of money. And I did actually, for one of the first times, I sat through this whole presentation and I wanted to share some of my very legitimate takeaways from what I guess Apple is calling Scary Fest? No, Scary Fast. They're scary, the Apple Scary Fast presentation. Quick disclaimer here at the top, if you're looking for a video that tries to really go after Apple and fuel your corporate warfare, you can find some other channels willing to do that. I am looking at this basically as a piece of entertainment. I love to make fun of advertising and marketing, and Apple is just serving up some really tasty treats for this one. Okay, takeaway number one. Tim Cook doesn't seem to be able to talk like a person. Now, I know that this is a sticking point for a lot of corporate executives. It doesn't matter what industry they're coming from. It doesn't matter how public-facing they are. When the time comes that they need to talk in front of a camera or talk on a big stage, it just doesn't quite work.
Tonight we're doing something special to celebrate a product we all love, the Mac.
It just wasn't quite working for me. I don't feel like I'm being talked to by a person when Tim Cook is on camera. That goes for some of the other presenters too, but especially with Tim, I don't know, I was just imagining the crew. We still have to shoot Tim's part. We gotta shoot Tim's piece to camera tonight. Yeah, tonight. Yeah, no, it's not Thursday. We gotta do it tonight. Has he gotten better? No, not really.
In the history of the personal computer. And this transformation in the history of the personal computer. And this transformation...
Side note, Kate has the best delivery.
The new MacBook Pro is scary fast.
Kate didn't sound natural in the way that she spoke, but I'll say that, like, it felt natural for a business person. You know? Like, this is what passes for normal in their universe.
There's a perfect model for everyone.
Takeaway number two, tech talk, the hardcore tech talk here remains very hard to sit through. And I think they know, like, despite all of their efforts, despite whatever kind of budget this presentation had as a whole, these you know, supposedly brilliant minds are unable to find a way to make this portion of the talk interesting. I think the real value of a portion like this is not to even try to make it entertaining and not even really to try to communicate the information that is contained within the tech talk. It's just to lend a sense of professionalism and a sense of, oh, we're brilliant tech people, and this is all very intricate, important stuff. You're not even really supposed to be paying attention to those segments at all. Takeaway 3, these researchers here, they have a skeleton. I don't know what kind of research they're doing, but they just have like a skeleton mannequin that you would see in a high school biology classroom. And to be honest, I think it's kind of charming. They probably have a name for him. If they have a party, they put a hat on him, whatever hat is appropriate for the season. Not this. I don't think a beanie would work on a skeleton. Well, I say that. Takeaway 4, the word pro has lost all meaning, and that is solely because of the sheer number of instances of the word pro.
Pro with
M3 pro with M3
pro.
And it's a funny one because the impression of pro is almost more important than whether or not the products are actually good for professionals. The average person, what I assume to be the large majority of people actually buying MacBooks in particular, they need to feel like this makes me a more serious person for owning this. Even if I'm a college student who I just need to write essays, which I could literally do on my phone. Why not have a $2,000 laptop to do that? Takeaway 5, the iMac is the world's best-selling all-in-one.
Millions of users around the world absolutely love the 24-inch iMac. In fact, it's the world's best-selling all-in-one.
What does the rest of the personal computing all-in-one product landscape look like right now? It's kind of like saying, I own the best hat that has been sitting in a corner of my apartment for the last 6 months. It is the best hat that has been sitting in a corner of my apartment for the last 6 months. It's true, but what is it worth? An additional note on the iMac all-in-one section is they were listing out a bunch of features. Here's what's great about the iMac, and they seemed to spin the option to choose a Magic Keyboard with Touch ID as a feature.
In addition, you'll also get the advanced technologies of Apple Silicon and the option to choose a Magic Keyboard with Touch ID.
The option to buy an additional product that costs $150 up to around $190. The option to purchase that, I get it's a benefit. Like I said, just entertaining. That's just fun. Final takeaway. Apparently, one of my favorite games is Firmament.
To playing your favorite games, like Firmament.
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 It's a new puzzle adventure game by the legendary game studio behind the best-selling games Myst and Riven. Featuring deep storytelling and world building, discover the story of this seemingly abandoned world. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. Thank you for checking out the video. I really appreciate it. I love to make fun of marketing here on the channel and talk about the urge to buy stuff. If that sounds interesting to you, please stick around. We can use every bit of encouragement, every bit of algorithmic help to survive here on YouTube without running ads. Until next time, take it easy.